For all the country's progress, barriers to social justice and economic equity exist in far too many corners of this society. Too many of our fellow brothers and sisters have died, sacrificed, and suffered at the illness that is racism. The 100 Black Men of Syracuse decided it's time for us to step out differently. How can we further the conversation to re-examine and create a more empathetic and inclusive society, one conversation at a time?
So first of all, thank you for having me here tonight. And I'm new to the Syracuse community at large. I moved here about a year ago, a little bit over a year ago, with my family from Chicago, actually. And it was part of a career move I made with Hillrom to be here in Syracuse, in the Syracuse area. I'm responsible here for one of our business units. We're active in the medical device industry, so we serve a lot of hospital clients, we serve physician offices, and we deal with a lot of patients and caregivers, and that's really where personally my passion is, and where Hillrom allows me to sort of live that passion, which is great. I often say, I think, many countries, probably all countries, have a part of the history that they'd rather forget, and so does the U.S. And I think just acknowledging the fact that there's a problem and to call it and to be able to have that conversation and be able to say, we have an issue here, we have an issue of equity, we have, the numbers show it, right? You can go down the list, whether it's education, whether it's healthcare, whether it is employment. There's a problem, and I think just stating that and acknowledging it allows to engage and allows us to move forward, and that's what I'm interested in, right? So if you're asking me how do I see my role and my contribution here, I want to be a catalyst for helping with some of that change where I'm in a position to do so. So we've been on a journey, Drake, at Hillrom. I would say when I joined Hillrom back in 2011, we were a smaller company with a very long history in Batesville, Indiana. We just moved our headquarters to Chicago, and as part of sort of a change in leadership, we really started our journey on diversity and inclusion around an enterprise resource group focused on professional women. And that was sort of the first step, and it took us a couple of years to really get some momentum and beyond sort of the Chicago community start to really form different chapters for that enterprise resource group. And then, over the last, I would say, probably 3 to 4 years, we've really started to expand the number of resource groups that we have. So we added a resource group around the LGBTQ community called Pride. We added a resource group around Embrace, which is our African American and African resource group. For Black professionals, we added a resource group around people with disabilities. So there's a number, and that's not the whole list, but it gives you sort of an idea. And I think the one unique thing is that what I hear from a lot of people that come from other companies is that our resource groups are diverse in themselves. So the professional women's group, where I was early on an executive sponsor and very engaged, we wanted to make sure that we have from the outset good male representation. And we thought it was very important to get men on board with the mission and the vision and what we're trying to accomplish. And so it's a very sort of diverse, it's not just women, it's a very diverse group. And I think the same is true if I look at Embrace, if I look at, the other groups that we have, the Pride Partnership. We're trying to be diverse because we don't want to just have one community talk about sort of the issues that they see amongst themselves, but we want to really get them connected to sort of a broader group to be able to make progress. Yeah, so if I look at the current statistics where we are in terms of the minorities is in the low teens. I know that we feel like we're underrepresented when it comes to Black professionals. I think the statistics are better around women, and we've made good progress on that front. I also know that if you look at different levels in the company, the gap becomes wider as you get to the more senior positions. And I think the real sort of focus for us is rather than starting sort of at the early end or to only start at the early entry level positions and say we're going to be diverse here and then over time it'll change. I think we have a very sort of clear strategy to say we're going to do that, but we're also going to, through external talent today, make changes at the more senior levels. Because we believe it's important. Again, I think we believe it's important, and I truly believe this is for someone who is in their early career to feel like they belong, to see a career path, seeing people in more senior roles that look like them, that have similar experiences, that can help them, that can mentor them, is important. And so I think we need to sort of make that change at all levels of the organization, not just over time. We've started to go down that path, and I was very excited. We had a group of people. I've two senior leaders specifically, with Dan Deborah, who's part of our engineering organization, and Angela Lee, who leads our human resources group and is my HR business partner, who are very engaged, who are part of the Black community, and both of them have been instrumental in launching our local Embrace chapter, which was a huge success. Has built a lot of momentum, and has led us to also start, building relationships with organizations like yourselves that I hope will lead us to find a way to better engage with the community through a number, and I can see a number of different ways in which we can do that. So I'll talk about that. And I'm also involved with the Center Stage CEO organization, where we're just now going through our strategic planning. A big topic there is social justice, and sort of I'm on a co-chair on a committee there to specifically address that topic. So we're talking about race and racism and some of the systemic issues in that context as well. So those are maybe two specific engagements that we have that are new for us. And I think in particular as it relates to 100 Black Men of Syracuse, I believe engaging with you around the education angle, around STEM, around sort of some of the adult education that we could provide. That's one element for sure. I think charitable sort of events and engagement that we could have to reach out in the community is very important, and it could be another pillar. And I think there's a third element specifically around talent and talent acquisition, and how do we make sure that the opportunities that we have available are also visible in the community, and and we reach the community in the right way. And I think conversely, we have a co-op program. We will revamp our intern program, and making sure that those are well understood and attract a diverse group of individuals is I think another way that we could work together.
Mm-hmm.
I do believe that it's a great way to sort of have a strong foundation. And I think it goes both ways, Drake, right? I think it's very aligned with what we're talking about with REACH.
Mm-hmm.
And when I think about specifically that awareness column around accountability
Mm-hmm.
and holding ourselves accountable, I think that's one element of that, making a commitment and standing by it.
Mm-hmm.
And if that takes a form of an agreement that we enter into, I think that is definitely an opportunity. But I also think it would be great to have that sort of as a two-way street where, I think our organization gets the benefit of, what 100 Black Men of Syracuse has to offer, and whether it's with you or other members of the team is able to have that sort of ongoing dialogue, and make it something that is not, just a point in time, but really a journey together and a progression over time. That would be really, really important to me. And I think having some goals and having some things to be held accountable to is a good thing. So I wouldn't shy away from that.